what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur Exchange on the Mesh Podcast Network, a monthly conversation about startups and small business with ideas, tools, and advice to operate your business more effectively. On today's show, when someone torches you on social media, how should you respond? We'll share an article about how one business is fighting back against an inaccurate and inappropriate social media post. We're going to get the new year started right for you and your business. Our guest today is Todd Lyden, the Small Business Center Director at Bladen Community College in southeastern North Carolina, who will be sharing his 2019 top 10 apps for your small business list, so you'll be operating more efficiently this year. Finally, we'll wind up with our Small Business of the Month feature, where we'll highlight some interesting businesses that you should be checking out. My name is Jeff Neuville. I'm your co-host and director of the Small Business Center at Catawba Valley Community College in Hickory, North Carolina. I'm joined by my co-host, Gary Muller, who is Dean of the School of Business, Industry, and Technology at Catawba Valley Community College. Gary, how you doing?
Jeff, I'm doing great. I'm living in the glow of my Wake Forest football team, winning 3 bowl games in a row.
Well, congratulations to you. Happy New Year's to you. Congratulations to the whole Wake Forest family.
Thank you. And we need some help for our basketball team, so that's why we talk about football.
Well, it's January. We've just started the new year, and hope springs eternal for your football team, your basketball team, and for all of our business friends out there. And we wish everybody the best. And welcome back to our Entrepreneur Exchange podcast.
Very excited about 2019.
Well, I'm eager to get going as well. So anyway, Gary, over the holidays, one of the articles that I saw in the Charlotte Observer was about a South Carolina restaurant and how they were dealing with a particular review that they'd received on Facebook. And it was an article written by journalist Alex Land with sunnews.com. And I wanted to read a little bit of the article, and we can chat a little bit about it and how they're responding. But it's about a restaurant in Myrtle Beach, or North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, called Bowie's on the Boulevard, that they claim that a bad review contained false allegations, and they are actually suing the person that put it there of libel. And here's the story. On October 30th, this person, I'm not going to name her name, although this was in the newspaper, and I'm sure if people start Googling, they'll figure it out, visited the North Myrtle Beach restaurant with a friend. She tried to use a coupon that would have covered dinner for 2 people up to $30, according to the lawsuit. The restaurant staff says that they told her that they were under new ownership and could not honor the coupon. In March, the restaurant changed over ownership and had a slight name change from Bowie's Beach Bar and Grill to Bowie's on the Boulevard. The wait staff attempted to comp the couple's drinks because they would not honor the coupon, the filing states. The customer threatened to, quote, destroy you on social media, unquote, and hurt Bowie's reputation, the lawsuit states. The customer left and checked in on Facebook to another area restaurant 7 minutes later. She then posted a review on Facebook, one that still was publicly available as of late December, and it reads, awful food, found a worm in my sushi, also had a fast-crawling bug on the wall. The Jenga game is a germ carrier. Go and enjoy it if you don't care, because the new owner doesn't at all. Not too cool. The restaurant, through its official page, responded to the comment and wrote, hello, customer. Your visit last night is on our camera, and you never ordered any food. No sushi was made for you. You and your father came in last night with a $30 off coupon dated October 2017 from Grand Strand Dining Group. We bought the business in March 2018 and are not affiliated with Grand Strand Dining Group. We tried to explain that, and you were livid because we would not accept the coupon. We did comp out a Grey Goose martini. Grey Goose is good.
Yes, it is.
A beer and a Coke. We also let you know to go to Duffy Street to redeem the coupon. I did see where you went there after you left here. I can post a video of your entire visit on our camera playback and see where only drinks were at your table. I find it really sad that you would stoop so low to post lies about a business because of your anger. You did let the staff know that you would get on social media and ruin our business. Those are your own words. A follow-up post by the restaurant's owner then threatens legal action. So there's a lawsuit out there saying that the post was libel and that they this customer slandered the business by making false statements and asked for an unspecified amount for damages. And they tried to reach this specific customer but had not yet succeeded. So from a business perspective, is this the right way to handle bad social media posting?
Well, I think it's interesting that they did take this aggressive action. But I think based on listening to this story, I think they did the right thing.
I tend to agree with you. I mean, I don't think that you necessarily want to be suing people for bad posting, but something like that was pretty darn extreme.
Yeah, and the fact that they had on camera, and obviously there's a blatant lie based on what we know, I think they need to, because, we know a lot about fake news over the last few years. So this could be another part of that fake news, and maybe the Russian collusion. You never know.
You think they could have been Russian agents sent to destroy our restaurant industry?
I think that's possible.
Well, it's possible. I mean, so typically when people get bad reviews for their business on social media, we encourage them to engage and apologize for any perceived poor services and really try to come up with a solution. And responding quickly is important, not letting it just sit out there, and being friendly and personable. Usually ignoring it is not a good thing. You really wouldn't want something like that sitting out there on your social media.
And again, like you're talking about in regular, complaints where maybe it was poor service or it took a while to get seated, that's how you would handle it in a constructive way and say, hopefully you'll have a better experience in the future or whatever. But this one was clearly somebody was out to get them.
Yeah, and I'm impressed with the I guess I'm impressed with the way they handle it. It makes me a little bit sad to think that do we need to have cameras and all sorts of things these days to provide evidence that of what happened. It's sort of a sad state of affairs.
I agree with you, but I do believe that they did the right thing in this case. When somebody aggressively goes after them, I think they need to counter the false charge.
And we were really enthusiastic about 2019. This is sort of a downer.
Yeah, I'm a little down, but this happened in 2018, so maybe that won't happen again.
Okay, let's hope. Well, anyway, we just sort of wanted to share that as an example of something of how to protect your business, how to protect your social media. Act quickly. When appropriate, apologize and provide a solution. When appropriate, defend yourself.
Well, and it's a good lesson for all new business owners, whether you're small, medium, or large. As you go down the road, you have to make these decisions. There's lots of things that go on that you got to make a decision, and here's what seems to be a pretty straightforward one, but you have to make sure you handle it right. I mean, they could have gone completely off, recanting the complaint, false complaint.
I think you want to avoid ratcheting it up and throwing insults at one another. I think they
handled it well, and then they kind of added the lawsuit that made how important it was to them.
I think that will provide that will probably keep the customer from doing additional postings.
I think that's correct.
Well, let's move to happier topics.
Very good.
And let's welcome our guest. Our guest today is Todd Lyden, who is a colleague of mine within the North Carolina Small Business Center Network. And Todd is the Small Business Center Director at Bladen Community College in southeastern North Carolina. And he's a Regional Director within the Small Business Center Network. Todd, welcome back to the Entrepreneur Exchange, and Happy New Year. How you doing?
Thanks for having me back. Happy New Year. I must not have blown it last time then.
Yeah, you're back by popular demand, my friend. I get to work with a lot of smart people in the Small Business Center Network, and Todd is at the top of my list, particularly when it comes to finding ways for small businesses to use technology and operate more effectively, operate more efficiently. And last year, Todd was kind enough to come onto the Entrepreneur Exchange and provide his top 10 list of business apps that can help your business be more effective. And he's done some updating for 2019. So, Todd, we're really excited and glad that you can join us.
Well, I appreciate it.
Before he starts, Todd, have you been at Buoys on the Boulevard lately?
No, I like Myrtle Beach, but I have not been to the Buoys place. Based on what you were saying, I took a quick look. The best thing that they've got going for them now is since then their reviews have blown up, and of course everybody's mentioning how good their sushi is.
No more.
How about the worms?
No additional mention of worms.
No worms, no. So the good attention they get from just making this into a story was good enough, I guess, probably.
There you go.
Well, that's good for them, and yeah, we'll give them a little shout out as one of our small business of the month before we even get to the small
There
business
we
of the
go.
month. Everyone should go to Buoys on the Boulevard and support their efforts. So Todd, last year you came up with a great list. It was very helpful in several different areas. How are you looking at things this year, and talk to us a little bit about the sort of apps that you're focusing on.
Well, I normally do webinars and seminars with this, and I've got it spaced out for different topics, and usually productivity's high on there, and we break it down for small business and entrepreneurs based on their needs. This time I decided to go a little bit hodgepodgey with just kind of new and different, or things that I think that folks need to have in their tool belt, especially in terms of marketing, since that's usually the number one thing that folks are looking for when they come to ask questions about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and one thing before you get going, I wanted to mention to you, because I'm sort of an efficiency expert in my own right. I went into my office over the Christmas break and cleared up all the stacks of paper that had accumulated, and I actually found the list that you went through last year, in one of my stacks, because I'm such a good organizer. So I've actually got it in front of me to see if there are any two-time winners of the Todd Lyden App of the Year type award.
That's why you're the best host for all the research that you do between
I
shows.
do, yeah.
So I'm glad it was that important to you. It's buried in your piles.
I've been living it, man.
It was a high priority pile, though. I want you to know that.
Well, I don't technically have any repeats. What I decided to do is do honorable mentions from last year that I would still throw on the list, but aren't on the top 10.
Well,
and
we're going to give you the discretion to do that because you're providing value to our listeners. So the floor, sir, is yours.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. My honorable mentions from last year that I consistently still recommend. I've got 4 that I'll mention real quick. Google My Business is not just an app, but it's also, of course, and most everything I'm going to mention has a browser component as well, or a web app, if you will. But Google My Business, I highly recommend to folks making sure they grab that and download the app, because it's the quickest way for, if you have a Google review, to address a Google review as quickly as possible. So it's definitely one that I consistently recommend folks get. Another one I recommended last year, and I also consistently recommend as a web app that had just last year had created an Android app as well as an iOS app at that point, was Canva.com, which is a fantastic graphics. It's a good alternative for folks who are not good with creating images, graphics, that kind of stuff for social media. The other one that I mentioned last year, still consistently and used just a crazy amount, is Google Drive. Not only because it's good cloud storage, but also because it has a scan function that to me rivals most major scanning apps. So you can get most of your pictures, documents, you name it, up into the cloud pretty quickly without much hassle. Mm-hmm. And then the last one that's still functional that I always recommend, and I'd use personally and also have clients who like it, is waveapps.com, but also has a really good financial management, and part of the reason that these ones constantly come up and I can recommend them is I see how much they get added to address client concerns, that kind of things, where they're adding constantly. And Wave apps in particular, it started originally just as a simple invoicing product years ago, and now it's to the point where it is pretty much almost competitive with QuickBooks in terms of its capabilities. So I always recommend that one as well, especially for a startup who's looking at trying to save some money with their financial management software. And then the one that's an honorable mention, but it's going into the dustbin of history, is Google Allo, which Google and messaging apps are not synonymous. It's almost an oxymoron. Google had created Allo about a year and a half ago, and it was their primary way for businesses to address messaging. It has officially gone kaput, but that was one that I'd mentioned last year as a one that you would need, but now you don't really need it anymore. So,
and I've used, I don't know, I've not used Canva before, but I've used the others, and I think they're all free, I believe. Any fees associated with these? I suspect that, I think on Wave, if you want to do payroll or if you get to a certain point, there might be some fees involved with that, but you can get started for free and do invoicing and
the only things they charge for is, of course, if you do any invoicing and choose to do through the standard, and that's the other nice thing is originally they were only with one processor, and now you can hook it to your bank, you can hook it through PayPal, you can hook it through whatever your processor of choice is, and of course it's the standard fees through whoever that is, and then as you mentioned, payroll is the only other thing, and it's actually a fairly affordable, especially for somebody to start up with a small number of employees. So
very good.
But those are my honorable mentions from last year. I didn't want to just ignore last year, but
they might torch you on social media if you ignore them. So I'm glad that you didn't do that.
Okay. But for this year, I decided to just go with stuff that I've been using more of frequently and that I've found reasons to recommend more frequently in the last year. The number one is actually a twofer, and like I said, you get double bang for your buck on this one. It's for the people who are business owners who need to be on Facebook as a business owner but don't want to be on Facebook. I get that very, very frequently.
Yeah.
And what I suggest to them is of course, Facebook requires you to have a profile as an individual that then you can then create and manage a business page. And you can manage as many business pages as you want. They have a separate app for that, a literal app, not something – well, you can do this online, but of course it's all through Facebook. But on your phone, where people want to not have the Facebook app, they need to download the Facebook Pages Manager. That way they can then address everything as a business and not through their own personal profile. At that point, the personal profile can kind of go out the window.
Okay.
Other than logging in, of course.
Okay.
The other one that I kind of dovetail with that because it has become so important, but a lot of folks don't necessarily want to get involved in it too much, is Messenger Lite. Facebook Messenger, the actual app, whether you're on Android or iOS, is a heavy duty app. It sucks up a lot of your space and eats up a lot of your space on your phone. Messenger Lite gets the job done in terms of just addressing. It's just a basic, texting, chatting function that most people need, and especially if you've got Facebook Messenger set up for your business, which everybody should. So those two together really would enable somebody to act as a business on your phone without having to get into all the personal stuff.
Okay. Good to know. I mean, I'm of the age where I'm not doing a lot of personal Facebook, but I do some business Facebooking.
Hey, there you go.
That's helpful.
So, and like I said, I get that a lot now where folks are saying, I don't want to get on, I don't want to share my personal stuff. Mm-hmm. So this kind of eliminates that to a huge degree. Plus, even if you are, it's still a good way to kind of keep them separate and manage them easier.
Okay.
Number two, getting into your realm of things for folks who are looking at doing some marketing and they're saying podcasting's, outside of videos, the next best thing. One that I've used for quite a while, and it's changed periodically, and you may be familiar with it, is Anchor.fm.
No.
It originally started as an app-only product for phones, that was designed to make it easy for people just using your cell phone to create a podcast. Now they've developed it over time, so it's got a little more bang for your buck, and of course doing things like creating it separately and then uploading it, all that kind of stuff. But they've made it very easy to hook your Anchor podcast into all the other podcast platforms so they can spread out pretty easily.
Good to know. Yeah, we do take credit for the popularity of podcasting that's occurred over the last few years.
I think you should.
I do. Yeah.
It's pretty obvious that we are a leader.
Yeah, and thanks to all the listeners out there that continue to. Yeah, just because you're not voting for us for the podcast of the year, we know you're listening. So keep up the good work there.
We'll get you some better traction with that.
Okay.
Number 3 on my list is another twofer. It's two that I like to use. You get a lot of folks who, for marketing purposes, like to create the little quotes or want to add stuff to their pictures that they're about to post. They're both on iOS and Android. One is called Legend, which creates short text-based messaging so that you can have little GIFs or videos for whether it's Instagram or Facebook. And then the other one is called Solid. I've used both of these quite a bit. And when folks look for something like that, these are the two that I recommend that are phone-based, of course. They're apps only, but so they're good for graphic generation that folks are looking for.
Okay.
Similar to that for number 4, where you're seeing more action now, of course, is in creating video for pick your platform, of course, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. Two that I like that get that job done quite a bit are Headliner.app, which is actually a browser, it's a web app, and Lumen5.com. Both of these do quick and dirty video creation with text. So, for example, if you have an article you've produced and you want to spice it up with maybe a quick ad, you could actually upload the text from that script, upload it. It can find you videos if you don't have video. It can also do a variety of different things. And Headliner just within the last week put out a thing that allows you to play with making videos using Donald Trump's voice. So that by itself becomes something worth taking a look at. So
yeah, we're not sure where we're taking that one, but yeah, it certainly sounds like something we could spend hours playing with.
Yes, we could.
No, definitely. But again, both of those are very handy because what you see with a lot of videos for Facebook and Instagram is people want short, quick videos, but they want the text up so that if they don't have any volume and they don't want to hear something, they'll still read about the story, that kind of thing. So those two I find very useful for that. I got to include Google, number 5. It's been around for a long time, but again, showing usefulness and improvement over time. Google Photos app is just fantastic. So if you have a Google account, I highly recommend you go now, but the app itself has a lot of value to it. Google will store all of the photos you take off of your phone, as long as you have the app, and store it in the cloud, and it doesn't count against your Google data caps. Most folks don't know that, so it's a really nice way of maintaining all those photos you take with your phone. But then the other nice thing is whether you're on your phone or on a browser, the Photos app does a lot of manipulation for you. It'll put together videos. You can do short GIFs, collages, little animations. It does a lot of little basic things, so if you're trying to do a little bit more with your photos than just share them and know where they are. Plus, Google's facial recognition is fantastic on there. So if you're going back and looking for old photos over time, it's a fantastic way to make sure you can track that. They're even tracking your animals now. So when I want to find that particular shot of my dog, I can just look it up. It's right there.
We all want to see that. So okay.
So got to include Google. One that's been around for a while and most folks I think know about, but it takes some reminding, I think, to come back to kind of an oldie but goodie is IFTTT, or If This Then That, which is both the web app and it's got an app for your phone, especially because it has so much value to be used with your phone. If This Then That is a notification/action service, and looking at what you can do with it now is incredible, because it used to be as simple as if you shared a picture to Facebook, if you hooked it in with your Twitter service, it would also, you could have it set up so it would automatically send that picture to Twitter as well. So that's just one basic, and what they call recipes. But there are now recipes for different actions, such as if you have the geolocation set up on your phone and you have smart devices in your house, that when your phone gets near the house, it can turn on the smart devices.
So I can start my oven, or what am I going to do?
Almost all appliances now that, the Internet of Things, the IoT that they're talking about now, where they're smart, so they're linked, they're wired up, where they can, as long as they're on your network, that kind of thing. You come in, you could have it set so that if you had that set up so that you wanted to, you had your meal set and waiting for you to cook, the minute you showed up, you wouldn't have to wait. Or, for example, for lights. A lot of people would use it for the lights on the exterior of their house if they're coming in late, or even inside, that kind of thing. And then it also works for different email services. So if you have, you want to track different things that you do with your different email services, it does stuff with your smart clocks, the cloud storage we were talking about earlier. So if you had created a document on one service but want to make sure it gets stored up to your Dropbox, or you pick your service of choice, and there's so many of on there now, that it's pretty easy to find those different, like I said, recipes. Or for example, text. If you wanted to have a text automatically sent from your phone when you reached a place, you don't want to have to bother with letting somebody know you reached a destination on time, that kind of stuff. It even works with different music like Spotify. Mm-hmm. So if you like something on Spotify, you could save it to another service. And, of course, it does all the social and all of the voice stuff now. So you could even ask Alexa on your, your Amazon products at home to do something for you somewhere else, kind of stuff. So
it's a crazy world, man.
Does it sound like, Skynet's taking over, right?
It certainly does. I mean, I think there are many business opportunities for smart people to come in and set up your smart devices in your home. So, business idea.
Oh yeah, there's definitely business opportunities for that, and for the businesses that need that type of stuff.
Yes.
We'll get back to your show in a moment. Just a reminder, you're listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Find out more at themesh.tv and give us feedback on what you like. And now, as promised, back to your show.
All right. What else?
All right. Number 7. One thing I've been doing a lot more of recently, and I see a lot more people trying to go as paperless as possible for document signing, is, and most folks know about DocuSign, for example. That's one I would mention. Or there's a lot of newcomers to this market. One's called SignEasy. There's another one called eSignly. But most of them have a freemium level, and they're fairly expensive products. But I would still recommend, especially for small businesses that do any sort of contracts on a small basis, to definitely think about it. But especially if you're in real estate. I mean, I bought a house a couple of years ago. We didn't see a document until the very end. Everything was done through DocuSign up until the last minute. So if you do anything with a lot of contracting, and it would probably be worth spending the money for those. But definitely for somebody who even does small scale, most of them offer a freemium level of a couple times a month, that kind of thing. So it still makes it possible for somebody to do it on a small scale. But that leads me to my number 8, which gets to catch-all PDF tools. Online, there are two, and I put this in direct competition with all the number 7 category, is one called Small PDF. It's online, and just recently they have created a very affordable competitor to DocuSign, SignEasy, etc., where if you upload your PDF contract document, whatever it is that needs signing, they're allowing you to do it, and it's only $48 a year with them to have that capability beyond the other PDF tools they have, which are things like splitting a PDF up, turning a PDF into a different type of document, turning different documents into a PDF, that kind of stuff. It does all that for free, but it's added the new signing component at a very affordable rate versus DocuSign, which is like $25 a month to get the same comparable service, which I thought was kind of interesting. Like I said, I'm looking at probably getting small PDF myself because it's so cheap.
Yeah,
the other one that goes along with that is a great competitor that I've always used is called PDFcandy.com. These are all .coms with their websites. But PDF Candy will pretty much take almost any kind of document you want and turn it into a PDF, and vice versa. And pretty much anything you need done with a PDF, it can do for you. So, questions, concerns?
No. So, and are those mobile as well, or is that you're going to?
No, those are web only.
Okay,
those are web only, but they're very, like I said, it's very useful. So that's why I wanted to make sure I included them. These are not just apps only.
Okay.
And to show I'm still hip, I talked to my kids. One of the cool ones that's out, and it blew my mind. It's because you see short format video always coming back around. The last one, and it died literally, and this is the worst pun in the world, on the Vine, is Vine. That used to be owned by Twitter. They kind of cut it loose. What's come back around since then, I don't necessarily recommend it, because what you find with short form video sites like that is businesses shouldn't really get involved, because the people who are on those sites don't necessarily want to see your business short form video.
Right.
But TikTok is very popular with all the kids right now. But my competitor to that, as an alternative to it, as a short form video creator for a business that might consider doing one for Facebook, YouTube, etc., is called Triller. And this is a true app, available both iOS and Android. And what it does for you is, if you remember the whole lip dub craze that went on a couple years ago, where people would play the song and they're lip syncing to it, Triller does that for you. It plays a song and lets you take multiple cuts of people performing short clips of a song that you can then put together as a music video. And it's been around for a while, but most folks, I don't think, are aware of the availability of it. And it, especially for a small business looking at creating a fun short video with their employees, it'd be an easy way for them to pick a song, something everybody does. It plays the song while you're videoing them, so they can easily lip sync along and do something fun, interesting in the business, and shows off something fun about the business. Easy way to create something interesting.
Well, I can imagine Gary doing that at our professional development meeting for our college that comes up next week.
Looking forward to maybe exploring this weekend, so I can surprise everybody at the kickoff.
Yeah, well,
I want to see these videos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, our hipness factor is going way up, Todd. Go ahead.
Just the fact that I can say Twiller is exciting.
Okay,
Triller. It's specific for Instagram. It's called Grambox, and it's an app known as Gbox on Android, but it labels itself a toolkit for Instagram, which is more and more people are shifting over, and especially for businesses shifting over to Instagram. It gives them a one-stop shop for doing different things with their videos and pictures that make them a little more fun for Instagram. So that does like a splitter, It does a grid picture where if you have like multiple pictures, you want to put them in one. It does swiping pictures. So if you have like a panoramic and you don't want to just put up a panoramic and have something where they sweep through several. So it does a variety of different things that are really useful tools for Instagram. It makes it easy for folks to make their pictures a little more interesting when they post them on Instagram. So
that was Grambox?
Grambox, yes, as an Instagram box.
Gotcha.
Like I said, they call themselves the toolkit for Instagram.
Not to be confused with like the graham crackers sort of thing.
No, of course not.
Okay.
So, but these are the ones I've been using more myself, and also ones that when folks have asked for a solution to some of these problems that some have been around forever, but some are relatively new. So,
well, that's a pretty good list there, man.
Very exciting.
Yeah, you're ahead of me, and I will say part of the power of our state, North Carolina State Small Business Center Network, is the fact that there are resources that have information like this that they're very willing to share. So, if you're in North Carolina, you should be checking out the North Carolina Small Business Center Network. But if you're outside of North Carolina, many states also have business development centers and can provide that sort of assistance. So anyway, Todd, one of the things that we've started doing since last year is when we have an interesting guest such as yourself, we have like a little lightning round of questions that we ask them. You up for that?
Oh boy. Okay, I'll try.
Okay. So here's some lightning round questions for you.
All right.
What is your favorite holiday movie?
Favorite holiday movie? Die Hard.
That's probably a separate question of Die Hard, holiday movie or not, but I guess we know where you stand on that one. Christmas ham or Christmas turkey?
Turkey, always.
I'm with you on that. That's a big issue at my home. Godfather or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
I'll go with chocolate.
Sort of boring, but okay. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Super speed.
Last question. If you were going to advertise a product on your social media account, what product would it be?
Well, if I'm an oh wow. Well, based on the amount of these given away at my house at Christmas, a Yeti cup.
There you go. Well, thank you for playing, Todd, and thank you for sharing all this information with our listeners. I mean, you really put a lot of good stuff together, and if our listeners can just take advantage of a few of the apps or platforms that you've mentioned, they're going to be getting their year off to a good start. So we really do appreciate it. If people want to find Todd Lyden online or at your small business center, where should they be looking for you?
Well, as I tell folks most of the time whenever I do any sort of presentation, if you look up Todd Lyden, you can't find me on Google. You're not looking too hard. So, but generally, either one's going to come up. I do have a separate website that almost doesn't pop even as much as the work site does. So,
all right. So just Google Todd Lyden, and Lyden is spelled Lyden. So,
yes, sir.
If you're looking for Todd and have questions or want to figure out how to attend some of his seminars or webinars, Google him and see some of the good stuff that he's doing with the Small Business Center down in Bladen County in southeastern North Carolina. So, Todd, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate
Todd.
it.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
I suspect we're going to want you back, so keep up your good work.
Well, if you get the good reviews, let me know, and I'll try to make sure I can meet the demand.
Well, you're going to help us with traction. We know it. So anyway, I know I'll be talking with you soon. You have a great beginning of the year, and we'll look forward to working with you this year.
Thank you, guys. Have a good New Year.
You too. Take care.
All right. We like to finish up with our typical Small Business of the Month feature. And Gary, what's your small business that you want to talk about? Hit us with it.
Okay, my business idea of the month has the slogan, Ride, Smile, and Have Fun. The name of that company is Slide, which you'll understand in just a few moments. At Slide, they believe in adventure and choosing the road less traveled. They believe in designing innovative and beautiful products that allow you to achieve the unachievable. Are you teased so far?
I'm listening.
Okay. Few businesses can say they got their start from a tray. To most, the inconspicuous fast food tray is nothing more than a handy device to carry your Big Mac and fries. However, to teenagers in South Africa, spending the day on the beach, those trays have meant so much more, as you can imagine. Maybe not. It was the low-leaf food tray that held the throne in Slide's quest for wave-riding perfection. Trade hunting for them was a serious business back in the day when they were getting things started. They needed the perfect ride, and that offset the need to be chased by flailing armed restaurant staff when they were stealing these trays and running down to the beach. And to fast forward to the future, the Slide handboards were born and enhanced surface body surfing experience. I apologize, I got this cold. I can't talk because this is an exciting thing. They went from trays to these neat-looking things you hold and you go wave surfing.
Your wave surfing. I didn't know if you're going to maybe go skiing. Or
I think you could use it for both, but a little bit colder down the slope.
So it's winter here. You know?
They started in South Africa, and they made it their California for the fame and fortune that they're going to have, and they've done a great job. They now ship to over 30 countries and very successful. Please look them up. It's a really neat-looking device that they've come up with.
And how do you spell that Slide?
It is spelled Slyde.
All right. So if you Google Slyde Slide, you'll find out about the Slides.
Yep, and it looks it's very affordable.
That's cool. No, that sounds. I mean, I'm not. I might be more interested in using them to ski down the mountain or slide down the mountain.
I think it would probably be successful.
I'm not a big skier, but I could
slide. You could slide?
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So, small business that I came across, I saw in a magazine recently, is a business called Paparazzi Proposals, which was started by a photographer in New York City, James Ambler, who, when he got engaged to his wife-to-be, didn't have any photos of the proposal, which upset his future wife's family. So he came up with an idea for starting a company to document marriage proposals. They've developed a process where you'll contact them, you'll talk to a proposal consultant, a marriage proposal consultant, who will help you come up with a plan. They'll send you maps and diagrams of the agreed upon location and tell you where their stealth photographer will be on that special day. And their photographer will document your proposal, and you'll receive 80 to 125 photos of this special occasion. There are many extras that you can do, such as roses, musicians, carriage rides, and there are different proposal packages across the country. He started in New York City, and he was a paparazzi, so he knew something about stealth photography. But he's trained photographers in over 30 cities. He's been on Shark Tank. He's gotten 2 sharks to invest, and his revenues are now in the 6 figures. So it's Paparazzi Proposals. I don't know. Did you document your proposal, Gary?
I was thinking about, no, I actually did it in front of the Wake Forest Wake Chapel.
Wow. In front of an audience, or just the two of you there?
It was, my wife was wanting to leave and wondered why I took her to Wake Chapel.
I think I proposed to my wife when she got out of the shower and she was in a robe with a towel on her head, and I'm not sure she would appreciate it. That
I was going to say, may not have been the best place.
But
you could have staged something different that would have been even...
Well, and if you go to their website at www.paparazzi-proposals.com, you will see a lot of their pictures, and people do some pretty cool things and in some pretty cool places. And as Joe Bob would say, you should check it out. So
I think that's cool. I like that idea. Yeah. I really do.
All right. Well, if you've got a suggestion for our Entrepreneur Exchange Small Business of the Month, you can email them to us at eexchange@themesh.tv. And if we use your idea, we'll send you an Entrepreneur Exchange prize pack. We want to thank Todd Lyden for joining us today. We want to thank the Mesh Podcast Network for hosting us. You can check out all the podcasts from the Mesh at themesh.tv. You can subscribe to the Entrepreneur Exchange by going to iTunes or many of your podcasting sites. So we appreciate everyone joining us today. We hope you have a great 2019. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next month.
Take care. See you in a month.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.